Okay, welcome back to another episode of Your True Sons. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Rutland. I'm here with Jerry Maclin and Sean Weatherspoon. We're going to get right into it, man. College football is getting kind of crazy, and we're wondering about the trickle-down effect to high school sports, to high school football. I feel like if I were a high school student, I would be pulling my hair out right now. So let's kind of get into what are some of those effects of recruiting in college football, the transfer portal. How is that affecting high school students? I'll start with you, Jeremy, because current high school football coach, what are some of the things you were hearing from other recruiting coaches, some of the things you're hearing from your players? Kind of give me an overall overview of that entire topic.
Man, I mean, I, I don't even know where to start because as a high school football coach, man, it has been frustrating. Just because, man, it's tough, man. I know how hard these kids work. I know how hard they work. So to see so many what I consider high level, high school football players essentially get passed up on, um,
Mm-hmm.
because the development of kids of the high school players is no longer really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, man. It's tough to have those conversations with those parents, man. And like, hey, I saw what your son did on the field. This is what I think about him, but I can't get him an offer, right? I
Yeah.
can't decide if he's gonna go to X, Y, and Z. So, um, so for a while there, I struggled with that. I struggled with that piece of it. I
Mm-hmm.
think now you just kind of got to shift your focus a little bit, right? Um, if this is how it's going to be, then they need to give Division 2 schools. Division 3 needs to be able to give athletic money. Like they need to trickle it down if this is
Oh,
how it's going to
wow.
be, because I do still think that the high school kid deserves that very same chance that maybe this 21-year-old that's on his third school in 3 years is doing. You know what I mean? So, um, and
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Like, not all change is bad. Like, we've seen. You just talked about last week. Signetti. I mean, he made the blueprint, right? Let me bring these, you know, 18, 19 guys with me. You seen Campbell take about 20 guys from ISU up to Penn State, and you
Mm-hmm.
seen James Franklin take about, So like, I get it, man. But um, it is frustrating. And I feel for these high school kids, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think now, like, okay, here's what it is, right? Let's not complain about it, right? As a high school football
Yeah.
coach, hey, let's attack this thing from different angles now. So for me, I think, camps now are way bigger than what they used to be, right? It used to be back in the day where a high school student, right? If I'm getting recruited, I wasn't going to a camp. Well, for what?
Those kind of, yeah,
Yeah,
not at all. Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
already getting recruited. Like, I'm already
Mm-hmm.
got these offers, right? So now it's like, yo, you think you're good enough to go play there? Like, you gotta go to their camp and go ball out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the strategy to be able to get recruited nowadays is different. Um, you can do all that and they still may not take you.
Right.
Because of just the access to having you know the transfer portal. So, man,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
talk about this for days, man. It's a lot that goes into it. But now I'm working on, like, you know, trying to find different solutions to get some of these kids who I think are high level football players
Yeah.
still to some of these high level universities. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Spoon, you as well spent time in the high school football sector. What are some of the things you saw from players who were considered top notch players, or players who maybe you thought they should have been, receiving some of these offers from some of the bigger schools and they weren't? What was that landscape like for you as a coach?
Well, I coached at a private institution, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a big pond full of players that have the size players that you just look at them and you say that's a kid that's going to play football,
Yeah.
maybe for his maybe for an actual career. We had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
guys that may be looking at smaller schools but had excellent grades, and so I think being in a private school where the curriculum is so vigorous that these kids are on point with that gives them a little bit more wiggle room to say, hey, maybe I can just establish this relationship with the coach who maybe came to see my workout. Maybe I went to the camp, I was
Mm-hmm.
invited there, but they were just kind of looking at me, not necessarily committing to me. It gave those kids an opportunity to show, that these are kids that really care about, what they're doing off the field,
Yeah.
and are, looking forward to being a part of a program and growing. But ultimately, it's a lot of kids that they have a realistic mindset about it, kids like that. But the kids that grew up the way I grew up, just loving the game, I think those are the kids
Yeah.
that I really feel for, because
Yep. Yep.
they're not looking at all the resources that are at other schools. They're looking at the schools that they see on TV. You kind of have to be proactive as parents and kids to go look everywhere. Not
Yeah.
just, okay, I want to go to this school, and because there's a lot of HBCU opportunities there where if your grades are up to par and you apply, there is money there to get you in school, so you don't have to pay for school. You get a chance to possibly be developed. But some of these HBCU schools are operating on the same, not as far as having as much as the bigger universities, but Prairie View A&M
Yeah.
brought in a lot of people last year with NIL,
Mm-hmm.
having a new coach come in with NFL experience, and it turned their program around quite quickly. So there's pressure there as well. But I think
Yeah.
mainly what I've seen is kids just comparing themselves to other kids entirely too much. Social media having such a grand effect on how these kids view themselves and view their futures, when ultimately you just got to go somewhere. If you just go somewhere
Yeah.
to where you can be a better human, to help others throughout your life and grow as a citizen, as well as develop your ball, I think
Mm-hmm.
you'll be in a better situation. But I think ultimately, man, it's going to make people just look at ball a lot different and say, hey, man, is this really a big deal? I mean, we want to be
Mm.
great humans, have a career, take care of our families, and sometimes ball might not factor into that for a lot of people. I think they're just going to get to that
Mm-hmm.
a little bit earlier, and now people
Yeah.
can attack their lives the best way they can. But it's just a tough time for these high school kids. But I just want to encourage them to say, hey, continue to work hard. If you love it, hey, go for it, man. And if you know me, we have a relationship. Reach out to me. I'll stick my neck out, try to get somebody to look
Absolutely.
at your film, and
Absolutely.
maybe you can go out and prove what you can really do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got a quick recruiting story. So like,
Yeah.
you look at Spoon. What offers did you have coming out of high school?
Man, I had my out of the Big 12, I had Missouri, Iowa State,
Okay.
who
So
was
so
yeah, so just a couple, Tulane, Conference USA,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis, Houston,
Yes.
TCU was late.
So
Mm-hmm.
I had a coach come through, man. I had a receiver a couple years ago, uh, like 5'10". He was a white kid. Did everything right. Had
Mm-hmm.
like 900 some yards receiving, all the good things. And flat out had a coach tell me that like really liked him, but he couldn't take him because if I miss on him, right,
Mm.
it's a lot more like
Oh my
alarming and
goodness.
damage than if I were to miss on somebody that may be 6'2.5" or something. And I'm just like I guess like I'm not I don't know use the word stupid, but I'm not like that naive that I don't understand like what he's trying to say when he says that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
man, like I do think because of the portal, and I think in particular, right, it goes both ways. The high school kid, either you have to really do your research and like really recruit the kid to take him, or it's a lot of lazy recruiting now going on at the high school level too. Because
Yeah.
you have so much access to those guys that have been in the weight program for 2, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I still say the same thing I said last time. You still got to have a foundation of a football team. So
Yeah.
if you're bringing in 60 new guys, like where's your foundation? Who's going to be when those guys come in? Hey, this is the way we do things, right? Now that's not
Hmm.
we do things a certain way here. Like we don't do this that way. So I don't know, man. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot to take in with how much the landscape has changed.
And then Mac, also, I want to piggyback off of that, just recruiting stories. You have these kids that have that size, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen coaches come in and just automatically offer guys, just because of their size. And maybe it's not a committable offer, but it kind of it lets them know, like, hey man, we know that you guys are your size is what we, if the tape matches what I see when I see you, I've never seen you play, but I'll offer you, then that
Yeah.
makes my job a
Yeah.
little bit easier, right? I don't have to dig through, to go find, this kid that I've been, study this kid for 3 years. I just see the kid that fits the bill, and I see 4 games,
Mm-hmm.
and I can make a
Mm-hmm.
decision right away. So yeah, it's the time factor, and it's also, these coaches need to get it right so they can keep their job. We talked about that last week.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? thinking about recruiting in high school, I mean, we all went through it. When I was coming out, I was recruited as a DB only. I never played the position in my life. I was only a quarterback, only played receiver, a little bit of running back here and there. And I remember a coach from Kansas State coming in and saying he thought that me and a guy named Chalky Brown, who actually played DB with me in high school, he thought we were the two best DBs in the state. And I'd never played it.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at a guy, he's 6 foot, can run a little bit, got to be a great DB. Which, to J Mac's point, it's lazy recruiting. Like, do your homework. This kid has never played a position. Don't consider him this albeit corner. But go ahead.
Check this out. But it could also be the other way too. And that's why I said it could go both ways. He could have looked at you so much on the offense side of the ball where he's seeing and envisioning you being able to be a good DB.
That's
but
true.
like, I think back in the day, like, you had to do that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had to do that.
That was the only place you could get players, yeah.
Exactly. I think nowadays, like, I think it would have to, like, literally be like something like that you don't see very rare for somebody to be like, hey, I'm going to take a chance for you to go play DB since you've never done it, when I can go, there's 10,000 players out there in the portal that do it, that's been doing it for years. You know what I mean? So I think I think he actually really did recruit you and really did, like, you see what I'm saying?
And also, another key part of that could be, at the time they were developing athletes into,
that's true,
position players, so they had the time and they had the time and programs set up for that. Some schools, I mean, you had the red shirt, like, that's just I guess
facts.
It's just no longer a part of the model.
You'd be amazed at how many in the quarterback position. I really feel for high school kids. Yeah, I've heard so many coaches come in and say, "Coach, we're not taking no high school quarterbacks." Like, flat out, they won't take high school quarterbacks.
Yeah, you got to be the dude.
Just not taking them.
Just not taking them. Their whole room, like, it, I mean, if you not know 5, like, it's portal.
So then my next question is this: how does high school adapt? I'm sorry. What do they do differently? Are we looking at it? Are we saying, hey, high school kids no longer look to go Power 4 or whatever? We say, hey, focus your entire freshman and sophomore year. Focus trying to get to a junior college somewhere. Is that what we're trying to tell these kids to do?
I think that if you don't have the offers that you would like coming out, I think same thing I tell them, you got to love who's loving you. But I think for the average player, not like the average skill player, but just for the average high school player, right, who has the ability to go play college ball, your story may look more like my guy at Ole Miss's than it does Dylan Riola. What's his name? The 5-star that came from Buford.
Came to Nebraska.
Like, your story, the average high school, your story may look more like that than it does, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's probably a lot more norm to that story than the kid Dylan. Now he's going to be a backup at Oregon next year. So things, crazy. You know what I mean? Like things change so fast, So I think that might be the new norm.
Is he going to be the backup?
Yes. And there's not a chance Buddy comes back if he's not the guy.
No. What are you doing? Wait.
Not a chance.
I'm just saying,
that's even a competition.
If I'm watching practice, or our scrimmages, and if you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing, I mean, last year's last year. These, like we said, can't keep their job if you BSing, right? But if you got the goods, which we know that kid does. But it's interesting to see that Raiola would go there.
So think about your time in high school, the decisions you made in terms of recruiting. How many visits did you take? How would your decisions back then kind of look today? Like, for me personally, I took one visit and that was it for me. I think today that doesn't work. You have to go see everyone, because there's a good chance you might go to the school and you may not ever play. You might go to that school as a freshman and they bring in transfer after transfer, and those guys are better than you up until you are a junior. And luckily, if you get to stay there that long. So
you're not in no big university, you're not standing there long.
You're not standing at Mizzou. So some of the decisions you made, J-Mac, coming out, how those decisions fare today versus how they went back then? Because you even decommitted from the school. You know what I mean? How does that look today?
Well, I think my process would look very similar because, like I said, I you know what I mean. I was I guess you can say I was a 4-star recruit. Like I don't really get into all the stars and stuff, but like I would say that my process probably looks the same. It probably gets pushed up though. I mean, you got kids right now. You got 27s that'll start taking official visits in April. You see them like they'll start taking official visits in April, May, like, and they'll do it like, and then decision made, and then I'm early signing day, and then I'm at my school next January.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're enrolled. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my process probably looks the same. I think everything's just probably moved up a little bit. Because I took a visit to Colorado, I took a visit to Oklahoma, Mizzou, of course. You know, I went out and saw, I went down and saw Lubbock. You know, before like, I went down and saw Lubbock, went to UCLA. You know what I mean? It was I got a chance to see quite a lot. I'd be lying to you if I said money would not have been a factor. Like I'm sure it would have. I'm sure it would have in some capacity.
Definitely.
But I would think like my process probably would have been very similar.
Spoon, what about you? How does your recruiting process change, or is it the exact same?
I like to think that it would be similar to the way it went, but like Max said, things were kind of expedited. In this climate, you got to go see what's going on. Now it kind of stinks to go to a visit in April and ain't no game going on, ain't no
I know
real,
like
and you got
the game day, dog, the game day
like,
experience was what it was. I'm watching Brad and Chase and all, that's what it was, So
So the previous fall, you would be busy, right? You playing Friday night, boom, you shooting out to go to this school to check them out, because they're sending kids tickets, and of course you probably go to the schools that are closer to you, like you were able to go down, to Mizzou Mac. But I think I would not have went to as many camps, knowing what I know now, because I went to I went to now. If those coaches told me I need to be at the camp, that's different. But if I'm just a kid, man, I'm gonna go to the camp, they gonna notice me. I mean, I tried that. Like I went to camps and did what I do, and shoot, I didn't get those offers. They put me on their all camp teams. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I just tore it up. I'm about to see an article on Rivals, this, that, nothing. So, but if I had a relationship with the coach, I would go. Like people told at LSU, that was one of the offers I really wanted. He was the linebackers coach there, Bradley Dale, recruited my brother years ago. So I went to LSU's camp and competed against a lot of guys. It wasn't a team camp. It was just, it wasn't a padded camp. It was a helmet camp. But that was one that I was really shooting for. But I went to Houston. I was committed to Houston, and I went to that camp still. I mean, all I could do was go over there and drive my value down, essentially now, But I probably just would have committed earlier. Like, I was committed to Houston, but I wasn't, like vocal about it. Of course, if you're committed now, you're going to be vocal about it because it's already an agreement that you got going where guys are committed and they're getting paid for being committed. So I think, that would be something that would be different today.
Man, you know what? I think my story, there's a good chance, man, that I would have ended up maybe not even playing this game at this level if I'm coming out today. One, you're a 3-star recruit who's going to have to switch positions. I don't know how many coaches are looking like at the Power 4 schools are like, you know what? Yeah, we can make him into something today. Why take on a project like that? Like you said, the coach was like, if it doesn't pan out, I look bad. So that leaves all the schools that I didn't necessarily want to go to in the first place. Some of the smaller schools here around Houston. And I'm probably thinking, you know what? I don't know if I love the game enough today as a 17-year-old to go to this school and commit to playing for 4 years there. I may just have been on campus. You know what I mean? Just kind of kicking it, looking real average, looking real normal. Because one, you guys know Coach Jones told me, hey, you can come in the summer or you can stay at home. I chose to stay at home. So can you imagine that same kid saying, hey, you're going to miss out on prom. You're not going to play basketball. You're not going to run track. That 17-year-old me is like, hey, man, we'll see if I make it to y'all because I got to stay home and do these things. I want to go to prom. I'm sorry. I want to go to prom badly.
No,
so I just don't know if that process today's process works for a guy like me. Now, granted, I'm willing to bet all the kids who are trying to make it to the next level aren't looking at it like I was looking at it. But you also don't have the luxury of doing that today. You got to leave early. Yeah. You are making a decision very early.
Unless you're at a school where they don't allow you to, or you got to be like literally like that dude.
You got to be him, 4 or 5 star.
Like, hey, I'm waiting to after the Army All-American game. I don't even know what it's called. I think it might be called Under Armour All-American game now. Yeah, but like, you make your announcement and then you sign in February. But like, you got to be like one of one at your position. Like that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. So
special.
You
got to be big as hell. Just big. You big.
If you like 6'6",
they love that.
And you playing DN, sure, we'll wait on you because I feel like you might be something. I get it. I get it.
Check this out. This is so crazy. Fresno State was in St. Louis recruiting, right? Okay. And I understand why he said this, but the reason why I'm bringing this up because like it just takes you into the mind of like some of these coaches, right? He's like, hey, I'm out on the road, O-line, D-line, tight ends. He said, I don't got to come out the state of California for athletes. I can go to every school in California. They got some type of athlete out there. So like that just also like gives you an idea also how recruiting goes as well. Like some people think like, like there's some school like in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Right. Texas A&M and Texas Tech now, they're going to get their top picks in the state of Texas. Right.
That's true. Yeah.
They don't got to go out and get athletes. You got to be a special player for these guys to go out of state and go get somebody because they got everything they need right there in their backyard. Like that's also another thing I think with recruiting that when you add on everything like that people don't quite understand. Parent, I saw that D tackle get an offer from Oregon. I'm like, well, yeah, like he's a big body, right? He moves differently, right? They're not gonna come and get just a good receiver from Kentucky. You know what I mean? You got to be elite. You got to be great, right? Because they don't got to go outside of Cali.
Right. Why?
I meant to say USC, but yeah, they don't got to go outside of Cali, right? They don't have to. So
you don't want to.
That's also another thing. Exactly. So
I think one thing that Spoon said a little bit earlier kind of just hit me again. There are a bunch of schools out there, and just for the high school students, don't have a narrow focus on I gotta go Power 5 or Power 4, or I have to go here, I have to go there. Broaden your scope, man, and end up at I don't know, man, La Tech. End up at schools like that and go crazy.
But let it fuel you. Still let it fuel you. Keep that chip on your shoulder. Like, hey man, they said back then they ain't want me. Now I'm out there all on me.
Yes, sir.
3-3.
Listen, I talked to Drink like 2 weeks ago. Drink said, man, for these kids, man, if you think you can play at this level, go FCS, prove it, then move up.
There it is.
That's what he said.
Man, that is. And Drink also made a good point on the show last year. He said in terms of how he recruits the portal and things like that, he's not recruiting off potential. He needs to see people who have played. So the backup from at Florida State, who was all world in high school, but he hasn't played a down in 2 years, that's not high on his list. So it may actually be more beneficial for these kids. Hey,
where you can play.
Go get some film.
Go get some film. Because every coach is looking in the portal. They're looking at film week in and week out. And if you're showing up on tape and you're doing the right things, you got a shot at making it to the school of your quote unquote dream school, whatever that school may have been. You got a shot, man. You got a shot. So high school kids, keep plugging away. Keep plugging away. It's a difficult road right now, but you have a lot of avenues you can take. I think that can ultimately lead to having success at the next level. Now, fellas, we had a request on some topics via YouTube. I'm going to read some of these questions and let's dive into them, man, together. This is from Tupac Pat. 2PACPAT. Tupac Pat.
Hey, man. Tupac.
Tupac, man. What's wrong with you, man? Tupac.
Tupac Pat.
That's Pac, man.
It might be Tupac. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Tupac Pat. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. Pac died a long time ago. He said, the future landscape of college football, do we think there's some sort of realignment that would happen? if that would be beneficial or not. And what about introducing the salary cap at that level? He said, do you think that's a popular thing because it's done in the NFL? So do we think there's some sort of realignment coming in college football, whether we're talking about conferences or just, we talked about college football playoff. We know for sure that's going to happen at some point, but is there going to be some overhaul of college football to make it, I guess, I don't even know, to make it more predictable in a way, or what are we thinking? Or is that even a good, or is that a good or bad thing to do? What do you think, Spoon?
Man, sometimes I think, is the job too big for the NCAA? Is there going to be
Oh,
another governing body that has experience with pro? Like, will Dana White wake up one day and say he want to run? Like, I don't know. I just
no,
feel
I'm
like, man,
like G League almost type.
like, who will somebody really take it over and do it the right way? Because there needs to be some realignments. You got teams coming from Sacramento to Sacramento State being in the MAC. It's a lot of,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
North Dakota State, like Jeremy was talking about, joining uh F, FBS conference.
Yeah, Mountain West. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just feel like things aren't running smoothly, right? Like, it's a lot of, us just trying to figure out what's coming next, what's coming next. So maybe
Yeah.
there needs to be some change in the way things are going in order to get it set, so where it's like you just feel like kind of how the NFL is, you know what's going on, and I know they have a lot more teams, but
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe separating some of those teams. Maybe you have to meet a certain criteria to be a part of the big boys. Not just because your institution has so many, people that are enrolled. Maybe there's another criteria. I'm not sure, but I think that would just kind of settle things in for me, so I'm not just hit, out the blue all the time with something new that's going on with college
Yeah.
ball. And obviously the playoff
Yeah. Yeah.
is evolving as well. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Mac, what do you think?
Yeah. I think in order to do a realignment, which I'm actually in favor of, just because I think you have to implement a salary cap for everybody that's in that realignment, right? I said this a long time ago. I think that it should almost be like an NFC, AFC type of deal. I think you
Yeah.
should have to meet certain criteria to be able to play for the big dance, right? And then everybody else plays for whatever title, and then you still got your FCS stuff, right? That's kind of what I think Division I football should be. That being said, right now, like, a lot of what they're trying to do is like based off the conference. And I think
Yeah.
that's why the SEC and the Big Ten think that they can eventually take control of college football, because you're giving these conferences too much power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you got to be careful with that. So I do think the NCAA needs to just say, yo, this is what's about to happen. I don't really give a damn what everybody thinks. Like, this is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I think until that happens, I think we're, like Spoon said, we're going to be learning about something new every day. Like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Like this. I saw Penn State release how they broke down their collective money, right, that they get. Right? It
Yeah.
was like, like, here it is, like 18 million into football, this boy, I think boys basketball, women wrestling. And it's just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, if you give us all this same like sum of money, great. Okay, but now make us break it down the same way. Like,
Yeah. I
I
can't.
get, like, as an AD, you're like, well, I don't want to do that. Well then you don't need to be competing. Like, I don't know, man. You just
Mm-hmm.
gotta grab the reins on it. You know what I mean? You just got to.
It's like
Do we? Go
I
ahead.
feel like there's parity. There's parity, right? So some things can happen in the blink of an eye. This team can do them, but like everybody can't operate like that. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
really feel like that salary cap would be a game changer. And then also, if you're not able to have that, it would kind of eliminate you from even having to go against those guys.
I don't want to sound
Yeah.
misinformed, but like what happens if like a basketball only school opts in, right? Like what if Pepperdine opts in, or Providence? They don't have football
Mm-hmm.
teams, so like,
Mm-hmm.
do they automatically get all this other
All the
All
money
funding
the
just
goes.
for basketball? You know what I mean? Like,
man.
I'm sure they don't, but like the
Yeah.
fact that I'm not aware of that, like, I don't know, maybe I haven't done my research, but like, or maybe it should be more public knowledge. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just feel like there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily know about.
But if you think about like, if you introduce a salary cap, let's say per sport. So in the SEC, football teams have a cap of 20 mil. I don't know the number. Let's just say it's 20 mil. One, where do they get that money? And then two, does that kind of make it fair again? Because right now, I mean, I think your better schools all have access to a good amount of money to where they can go get the players they're looking to get, right? But if you say, hey, look, now we're gonna make everybody use the same amount of money.
Mhm.
Now you're kind of determining, all right, Mizzou, you're gonna use $10 million. But what if we have people who are willing to give us 20? We just stop people from giving money.
But I think that's why it's so hard to do. Because even right now, right? Even you talk about the NIL collective, right? But any other deal that's worth over amount of money, well, it's supposed to go to the NCAA clearinghouse, right? And then they're supposed to basically like value, hey, Spoon, this dealership wants you to do 3 commercials, 2 signings, and then they're supposed to put a value on that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if I'm the car dealer, how you gonna tell me what I can,
You
who
can't
I
tell
can,
me. Right.
you know what I mean? So like I think there's just so many like things like that I think that are gonna go on.
Yeah.
That I just think is so hard to like take control of. So either you gotta eliminate it altogether, you know what I mean? Or you keep it how it is. And right now, like, you know, everybody's kind of, you know, you heard the Texas Tech guys say, hey, we saw a window to capitalize on this, and that's what we did. So
Not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. I mean, and hats off to teams like Tech who take advantage of. It's not even a loophole. It's just like you allowing it, so I'll take advantage of it, and I'm okay with that. He one other question from Tupac Pat. Sorry, fellas, was do we think that college football will end up being more popular than the NFL? I don't. Go ahead.
go no, Kevin, you go first. Go first.
So I don't think college football has that ability because you have so many teams. And now, like if I'm in the state of Missouri, maybe I'm a Mizzou fan, right? Or maybe I am or if I'm in Cali, I'm a USC fan, but I'm also a UCLA fan. I think it gets spread too thin. Where in the NFL, you have a couple of states, a few states that have multiple teams in the state. But in college football, that's rampant. You know what I mean? Look at Florida. You got Miami, Florida State, Florida. It's just so many teams in one state. So I don't think that the sport can ever grow because it's still so localized. I only like when I'm watching college football, I'm watching Mizzou. It's got to be a huge game for me to watch another team play. You know what I mean? So I don't think it will ever be more popular than the NFL because I'll turn on the NFL. I don't even have a favorite team. I'm just watching the entire league. So that's my take. What do you think about that, Spoon?
I think once it's ran like a complete pro, sport, then I think it has the ability to rival. But it's going to take a long time because obviously you can't just come out and start paying, high school quarterbacks that are coming in $250 million for the 5 years they're going to be there.
That's crazy.
I think like people follow the money, the headlines. That's why the NFL is so popular. It's the best in the world, and so they're paid the most.
Yeah.
Like we just kind of revere them at a certain level. Hey,
That's true.
I think if they continue to go in the direction they're going, I mean, the NFL might have some competition, man.
A little comp.
And then if they say if they don't put years up, like now you can just play like you can stay in college forever. If they're pros, then it's just another league, right? It's like CFL. Like I don't know, man.
Right.
It's to be told. To be told.
I think the Super Bowl was 124.9 million viewers, right? Average. Right.
Okay.
Peak viewership was 137.8 million. The national championship was 30.1, right? College football won't catch the NFL. And I think moving to this new model actually is going to create more distance. Because like Spoon just said, man, like it used to be kind of like its own thing. Like it's like its own thing, like the college game days and I'm sure the traditions, but like you're getting rid of rivalries, you're getting rid of all these other things, you're getting rid of like it stands no chance now, right? I'm with you guys, right? Like I used to love watching college football, and I still watch Mizzou games. I still do, but like I've started watching. I've always watched the NFL, but like I've been more into like NFL games lately, part of the reason is like I don't know who's on my teams. There's so many new I'm not even trying to be funny right now. Like there's so many new faces, there's so many new different things. But like I still love I love football. I think if there's a game on, I'm gonna watch it. Well, it could be Tulane, but like I'm watching it differently than how I used to watch it, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. I get it. I totally get that. And actually, I agree. Like you used to be able to watch Jerry Maclin from redshirt freshman, sophomore. You know what I mean? And you follow that career, right? Or you watch Chase from all 3-4 years in Mizzou. You know what I mean? That
JJ Billingsley was at Colorado for 7 years, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Be probably not that long, but I'm just saying though, like
for a while, yeah.
You hear him on JJ? I'm like, man, that dude been there for 10 years. Like that's unheard. You're not going. Them are done. Them days are over and gone with. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So look, last thing from YouTube. This is I Am Stormy. It's not even a question. It's kind of a comment. He said, "Look, if these kids want to get paid like pros, which they deserve, I think universities should get some security as well. If you take NIL money, you sign a contract with the university, 2-year minimum locked in with that program. What do you guys think about that?" That's controversial. I Am Stormy. Look, go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I like it, but and then just like here's why I like it.
It puts some onus on the university to be like,
yeah, it does.
We're committed to
it
you.
Does.
You know, like I like that.
I mean, you saw what happened with it. I take that back because you saw what happened with the Duke quarterback, right? You saw what happened, right?
Yes.
Like and then you want to force a kid to be there, and it's just like same thing happens in the National Football League, right? Like,
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like, so
So, I like that you brought up the NFL because I think that's something that a lot of people don't really know about the NFL until you're in it. Just how much control an organization or a team has over his players, has over the players. I mean, I bet if you were to do a poll of NFL guys, they don't necessarily love that either. You know what I mean? Because I might come to a situation, I might go to the Patriots and I hate it here. But if I'm drafted, with those first 2 rounds, you kind of own me for like 5-6 years. So I don't know how that looks in college, but I do know if you have it in college, that prepares you for the NFL because you're about to go to a situation where you cannot leave. Now, you can sit out, but you're not getting paid anymore. To that point from I Am Stormy, making them stay is a little. It's kind of like being held captive when no one else is being held captive. If I'm a head coach, I can leave. If I'm an offensive coordinator, I can leave. So why are we making the players stay?
You can't. You also can't force a student to stay at school, like because he's still a student.
Tough to do. Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be nice. It's kind of like you look at it from a few different ways. You can see some pros, you can see some cons, like the concerns that you have there. Like I like it because you'd have more than 1 year to make good on okay, I'm the kid you guys recruited, right?
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool for the players, but at the same time, it's like I'm locked in. I can't go find a better situation because I've been mistreated. It just gets hairy. It gets, like you said, being a fugitive. I mean, a captive almost, not a fugitive, but being captive to that.
I'm stuck
to that.
Bro.
Yeah, especially in the climate where the coach is going, the AD going, everybody going.
I don't think there's a way you can do it at the college level, and then even at the pro level. Yeah, you can lock in those contracts, man. You know how many kids? How many guys? Like the relationships get fractured. They ask for a trade, demand a trade. They sit out. Like can you imagine that in college? I mean, it would be all over the place, right? Like
that's what would happen. You're right.
Yeah,
in a lot of that.
Yeah, like so I don't think you can do that.
It's already chaotic enough,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't even know how that affects the recruiting trail. Like if I go get X amount of guys out of the portal, and they all have to stay with me for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stuck with the same team for 2 years. Not to say that's a good or a bad thing, but it wasn't even that way previously. You know what I mean? Like I recruit different kids. They come in, and think about our class when we got to Mizzou. How many guys were with my senior class that came with us? It doesn't end up that way. People just fall off too. So I don't think you should make people stay either. I am Storm. What you got, Spoon?
Yeah, they I don't think you should make guys stay, but I know like if I had to lock into a 2-year deal with a guy, then I just recruit all seniors. Like you can't stay 2 years anyway. So this gonna open
Oh
back up
yeah,
for me to go back into the portal, find some new guys after you leave.
that's a good point. I'll find a way to get 1 year guys in the building. All right, fellas. Well, anything else before we break, man? I think this is a great show, and we love the fan interaction. So please, fans, continue to send comments, send questions. We would love to address them on the show, man. Anything else before we go, guys?
I think we're good. But
Well,
hey,
there we
wait,
go. Yes,
real
sir.
quick. Nah, I'll save it for next week. Save it next week. Save it next week.
Oh,
Okay.
hey,
Well, listen.
cliffhanger. That's a cliffhanger.
I'll save it next
Cliffhanger
week.
for
I like
next
it, man.
week. For next week. All right,
I'll save
listen,
it for
man.
next
I am
week.
Kevin Rutland. I'm here with Jerry Maclin and Sean Weatherspoon. We are your true sons. We will see you all next week.